Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Wes, aka DougieNMySnuggy, and I'm going to bring you a little bit of a different kind of video today. This is a new series that I want to do on my channel. It might appeal to some of you it might not. I know a lot of you are here for the gameplay, but this is something that really interests me in the game, and I think it's a very fun part of the game. Hopefully you all join in with me on the fun here. And what I'm going to do is going to be an investing video. As we all know that the roster updates come out on Fridays, and everybody likes to speculate and see who's going to get the bump up to the next level, who's going to get downgraded, all that good stuff. We all want to make stubs here. That's the main point here, is to make some stubs. On this channel, we do not spend money for our players. We earn that shit the hard way. So what I want to do today is talk to you about some players that I am investing in this week, and then probably Friday or Saturday I'm going to do a follow-up video and show you how those investments turned out. If they panned out, if they didn't. Not all of them can be successes. Some are flops. Sometimes you might win some, you might lose some, but it only takes one good ratings bump to make it all worth it. So without further ado, I'm going to show you a couple of the players that I'm investing in this week. This is not all of them, and I'm not even finished making all of my buy orders yet. What I'm going to be doing is I have about 20,000 stubs to invest in players, and there's going to be a couple that I'm investing in heavily, and hopefully they get a ratings bump. There are a couple of guys that are right there on the cusp of moving up a level, and even if they just get that 1 or 2 point ratings bump that I'm looking for, I can just quick sell the cards for a profit. I don't even have to put out buy order or sell orders or anything, because I'm buying them for less than what the next level up actually quick sells for. And for those of you who don't know, if you quick sell let's say a silver card without even putting a buy order or a sell order up, you get 100 stubs for it. So if I buy any silver card for less than 100 stubs, I can quick sell it and make a profit just right away. I don't even have to wait. And on golds, it's 1,000 stubs. So any gold that you buy for less than 1,000 stubs is guaranteed profit. Any diamond that you buy for less than 5,000 stubs, guaranteed profit. Now, normally diamonds you don't want to quick sell. You want to put the orders in for those. But without further ado, let's take a look at some of these players. I'll show you their stats, and we'll see how they go this week. All right, here we go. The first guy I'm going to be investing in is Danny Salazar for the Cleveland Indians, starting pitcher for the Cleveland Indians. Now, why Danny Salazar, you might ask? Well, let's switch over to MLB.com here. We'll take a look at his stats. Let's take a look at these stats over here. He's pitched 33 2/3 innings, and he's given up 34 hits. However, if you look at his strikeouts, he has 49 strikeouts in 33 innings. Now, if we go back to the Show Nation, we can look and see that his K per 9, the plus 14 is inside edge. His K per 9 is only at 80 right now. So this plus 14 is pretty much what he should be. Also, his hits per 9 is way low, 69. That should be closer to what the inside edge is showing. So if you take a look at his stats, or his ratings here, his attributes, that's the word I'm looking for. I think Inside Edge actually has it closer to being correct than what the Show Nation regular attributes are. 69 needs to be bumped up a little bit. Maybe not plus 14, maybe plus 10 or something. But the K per 9s needs to go up into the 90s. It needs to be up probably around 94, 95. And if you look at his Inside Edge rating up here, he is already boosted up to an 88. That should be probably closer to what his actual rating should be at all times, without Inside Edge giving us a boost. Now, I think that's a bit of a jump for 1 week. However, I do think he's got enough. If they give those two stats a little bit of a bump, and maybe even his walks per 9 just a hair of a bump, we're looking at an easy gold here. So what I've been doing, I've bought 15 of him so far, and I plan on buying more. So you can see, you can get him for 200 to 300 stubs. Now, if he does get that couple point bump to get him up to 80, just an 85 rating overall, that means we can quick sell him for 1,000 stubs a piece. We don't even have to put out sell orders or anything, and we're going to be making a 700 or 800 stub profit on each individual one. Pretty good stuff. All right, the next guy I'm going to look at, another starting pitcher who is a silver but needs a couple points to be bumped up to gold. This one might not happen this week, but I'm going to start buying him now. As you can see, I own 10. I'll probably buy a few more of him. I'd like to have at least 20 before the roster update comes out because he's not selling very expensive. But that's Michael Pineda for the New York Yankees. Now, if we switch back over to MLB.com and look at his stats this year, he is pitching very well. He's 3-1 with a 3.12 ERA. So a little bit sexier numbers than Danny Salazar in the last one. But let's take a look over here. In 34.2 innings pitched, he's only given up 29 hits. And he struck out 43 batters and only walked 5 batters. All right, so let's go back and look at his attributes here. His walks per nine is pretty high already, so he's got good control. But that might get, with that many walks, he could probably get another. You could squeak in a little bit more of an upgrade there. Maybe even get him up to 90 on walks per nine. This K per nine really needs to go up with those stats. It might take a little bit more of a sample size for them to pull the trigger on him, but I think Pineda's pitching pretty well, and the Yankees are just playing well altogether as a team. And this hits per nine is way low. That needs to get bumped up at least, I would say, into the 80s. I'm not real good at how they do this, but I think 60s is way too low. Any of these attributes get bumped up, he's getting up to an 85 at least. So right now you can see that he's selling just barely over between 140 to 200 stubs. You can get him. And once again, it's a super cheap investment. And if you buy a bunch of him and he gets gold, you strike it rich. All right, third pitcher that I want to look at that is right on the cusp of being gold already. And I think he can do it probably this week, and you can actually see that transferring into his price right now. He's going between 500 and 600 stubs. So a lot of other people think that he can go gold this week. It's going to be Lance McCullers for the Houston Astros. He's pitching pretty well this year. He's a very good talent. He's got a lot of good stuff. Got some pretty good velocity. I think his velocity is a little low here, for one thing. But let's take a look at his stats here. All right, as you can see, McCullers is 2-1 this year with a 3.40 ERA. He's thrown 42 innings pitched. He's got a 1.18 WHIP, which is it's pretty good. Nothing great, but his opponent's batting average against him is only 239. He struck out 50 in 42 innings pitched. Now, if we go back, his K per nine is about 84, so maybe you can squeak out a little bump there. The place that he really has room to improve on the rating side on MLB is right here with his walks. As you can see, last year he pitched only 81 innings total, and he walked 45 guys. And then in the prior year before that, he pitched 125 innings, and he walked 43 guys. He's kind of in half the amount of games. He's only thrown a quarter the amount of walks this year. So he's pretty much cut his walk rate in half. So they have his BB per nine here on the show is only a 46. So that really needs to be bumped up. I would say, I don't know how high they should bump it there, but 46 is way too low for McCullers right now. I don't know if it's enough of a sample size, but we're getting into the season. We're over a month into the season, and he's pitching pretty well. He's got a lot better control than he did before, so really think McCullers is due for a little bit of an upgrade right there, and it's not going to take much to get him to an 85 rated overall and turn him into a gold. And as you can see, he's going for 500 stubs. That's about half of what a gold goes for. So I only own 7 of him right now. And I got some more buy orders out there for him. I hope to get about 20 maybe before the roster update comes out. He's probably a pretty good investment right now. The next guy that we are investing in, and this one's a super cheap investment right now, it's going to be Jay Bruce. As you can see, I already own 31 of him. I'm going to try to get to 100 of him before the Friday update. And let's take a look at his stats so far this year. He's played 31 games, and in those 31 games, he's got 34 hits and 70 total bases. He's got 9 doubles, 9 home runs, 25 RBIs, 14 walks, and he's only striking out 23 times, which is pretty good for him. He's mashing righties right now. His OPS is 924. He's got a 355 on-base percentage. The dude's he's pretty much killing the ball right now. And if we take a look at the Show Nation, you can see his power versus righties. This is probably going to be with the plus 12. That gives him a 99 power rating overall against righties. That needs, I mean, that's a little high for his overall rating forever, but it needs to be in the 90s, I think, at least. And again, he only needs 1 point to bump up to the next level. His contact versus righty is a little higher. He hasn't struck out as much as you normally would against lefties. I don't really have the stats of his versus righty versus lefty stats in front of me. MLB.com is not really the greatest place for that kind of stuff. But any kind of boost at all, and he really deserves to get into that silver tier with the way he's been playing lately. Any kind of boost, all he needs is 1 point to go from bronze to silver. And like I said before, silvers you can quick sell for 100 stubs a piece. So I'm going to try to get at least 100 of Jay Bruce. Right now he's selling for 65, but I've bought most of these 31 for less than 50 stubs. There's some asshole out here trying to got 20 buy orders out there for 65. He's overpricing me, man. Because I think the 8 are the 56 and the 8. I think those are mine. There's a few people investing in Jay Bruce, and deservedly so. So you might want to get in on him before his price gets to where you can't make any money. But most of the Jay Bruces I've bought so far has been around 50 to 55 stub range. And once you quick sell those, you're gonna make around 50 stubs per one that you buy. So 50 times 30, it's 1,500 stubs. If I can get to 100, it's probably 5,000 stubs just on one investment. So hopefully I can get these buy orders out before his price goes up too high. All right, one more pitcher I'm looking at that has the ability to go silver maybe this week, maybe next week. It's going to be Luis Severino. He's been pitching pretty well lately. I'd really written off Luis Severino last year because, man, I thought he was just terrible. But he's come back this year. He's bounced back this year and is pitching pretty well. Let's take a look at his stats on MLB.com here. He's 2-2, not the flashiest there, but win-loss, that's a bullshit stat. 3.40 ERA, not too bad. But look here, his walks plus hits per inning pitch is 0.91. That's stellar, man. That's top tier shit right there. That's Clayton Kershaw shit probably. His opponent's batting average is only 200 against him. He's struck out 45 in 39.2 innings. He's also only walked 7 guys this year, so not too bad there. Let's take a look at his attributes on the Show Nation here. As you can see, his hits per 9 probably needs a bump there. His Ks per 9, he definitely needs a little bit of a bump there. His walks per 9, he needs a bump there. Home runs per 9, maybe a little bump, but he's giving up some home runs this year. So any of those combination of attribute changes will get him up to an 80. And as you can see right now, he's selling between 50 to 70 stubs. So if he goes to silver, you can just quick sell him for 100, like I said before. And I only own 4 of him right now. I just haven't had a chance to put in all my orders for him, but I'd like to get about 50 of him before Friday starts. I don't know if I'll have enough stubs for all these investments, but he's definitely one I'm going to be targeting. He's a really cheap investment and has a real good chance to go silver. Maybe not this week, but maybe next week. I don't know what kind of sample size the MLB guys over there need, or Sony San Diego needs, before they make these bumps. Sometimes they just bring these roster updates. It just comes completely out of nowhere sometimes. Well, not really out of nowhere, but they seem to ignore some people sometimes, and some people they don't. It's like they need a bigger sample size for some people than they do others. All right, one last pitcher before I move on to some more hitters is Taijuan Walker. He's a guy I'm investing in. I don't know if he will be able to get the bump this week, but he might be more of a long-term investment for you. He's been pitching a lot better this year than he did last year, and he's pitching in a tough ballpark. You gotta consider that when you look at his numbers. But let's take a look at his numbers here on MLB.com. So far this year, he's 3-2 on the year with a 3.83 ERA. Nothing too flashy there. And he's got a 1.28 whip, which is mediocre, I guess. But he has struck out 40 in 40 innings, so he's averaging a one strikeout per inning there. And he's walked 12, so he's a little bit wild sometimes, I guess. I'm trying to look at this compared to that's pretty much on par with what he did last year for Seattle. But here he's only given up 4 home runs this year in a ballpark that the ball just flies out of the yard. So having a sub 4 ERA in Arizona is pretty good. I don't know if he's got enough to get him a bump here, but this home run per 9 is way low here. So I think that needs to get bumped up a bit. Hits per 9, maybe a little bump, but the Ks per 9 needs to go up. It's only 66 Ks per 9 innings. That needs to get up into the 80s. And if they can get him up into the 80s, I think a 1-to-1 ratio on innings to strikeouts, in my mind, I don't know how they do it at Sony San Diego, should be around 80 as far as a K per 9 attribute here. So if you bump him to 80, I think that might get him up to an 80 overall on his overall rating. And if you look here at his price, and I only own 9 of him right now, but I'm trying to get more. He's another one I'd like to just get into the hundreds on because he's a long-term investment. But he does have a chance to go silver here within the next week or two. And if he doesn't go silver this week, I'll just buy more and hope for next week. But you can see here, you can buy this guy for 10 stubs. If you get lucky, you can get him super cheap. And if he does go silver, you're making 90 stubs on each one that you bought. So super cheap investment. Good long-term prospect, and he was one of my MVP pitchers for my 25 and under event that we just recently had. So Taijuan Walker is a good investment. All right, now on to somebody a little bit more flashy. Let's take a look at Segura. He's a guy I'm going to be investing in. I haven't really got any bowlers, but I did win one after a game earlier today, so there's an extra Segura on my list. But he's a guy, he was hurt a little bit earlier, well, just a while back. He's just got off the disabled list, so he's only played 21 games this year. Not sure if that's enough of a sample size, but he has been crushing the ball lately. Look at his OPS. He's at 930 OPS. He's batting 376. He's got 5 stolen bases, 13 RBIs, 3 home runs. He's really hitting the ball well. And if we take a look at his attributes here, his contact versus righties, he's killing righties. Yeah, he's really killing righties this year, so I don't really understand why he sees righties so much better than lefties. He's got a kind of a shorter swing, I guess, but he's a phenomenal player if he stays healthy, and I think he's a guaranteed bet to go gold. He was gold last year, so they'll be more prone to upgrade him this year. So I think Segura would be a good investment. However, his price is a little bit closer, inching up towards that 1,000 stub range, so you're not going to make a whole lot of stubs off of him if he goes gold, unless you buy in bulk. So I'm going to try to get maybe 10 of him if I can. He might be just a little bit too expensive. He's one of the guys that I wish I would have invested in earlier, but it's too late now. But he's still a guy worth investing in because I think he's almost a shoe-in to go gold if he stays healthy. And you're still going to make a couple hundred stubs on each one that you buy right now. So Segura is a good bet. All right, here we go. This is another guy that is probably inching up. He's a little bit, falls kind of in that Segura boat where he's getting a little bit expensive right now, but man, he deserves it because look at these stats that he's putting up this year. In just 32 games, he has hit 11 home runs, 29 RBIs. Look at his OPS, a 1.021 OPS. I mean, that's diamond stuff there. That's more than gold. That's diamond stuff. He's batting 325 with 387 on base percentage. 634 slugging. Look at his slugging compared to the last couple of years. Marcell Ozuna is one of those guys. Again, he's got to stay healthy, and he's gonna put up some good numbers. And he's on pace to put up some stellar numbers this year. He might be a little bit more of a long-term investment. Not really invest for him to be gold, but if he keeps up what he's doing now, he's a guaranteed diamond here within the next few months. Now, as far as what he's doing right now, I think he should be a shoe-in for being a gold pretty soon, if not this week, maybe next week. I don't know if the sample size is big enough for Sony San Diego to jump on the Marcell Ozuna bandwagon, but I'm definitely on it. I'm going to try to buy a few. I don't own any of it right now. You're not going to make a whole lot if he does go gold, but he's still pretty cheap for a potential diamond investment. So you might want to pick up a few Marcell Ozunas. All right, last guy that I want to talk about now is Adam Duvall for the Cincinnati Reds. He is their favorite BR All-Star from last year. This dude mashes the ball, and right now he's sitting at a 78 rating. He's got good power against righties and lefties, but his contact is really low. His contact and his vision is really low. But let's take a look at his stats so far this year. He's actually jumped up his batting average. Of course, it's a small sample size, but it's up over 30 points, 32 points. And his on-base percentage is up about 21 points, I think. And his slugging percentage has gone up, and his OPS has gone up almost 100 points. So the guy's killing the ball again this year. He's hit 9 home runs, 26 RBIs, so he's pretty much on base to do kind of what he did last year as far as his power numbers are concerned. But he's actually putting the bat on the ball a little bit more, so his contact numbers and his vision numbers, I think, need a boost this year. And all he needs is 2 overall rating points to get up to a silver status. And as you can see, he's selling around 30 stubs right now. You can pick him up for around 30 to 50 stubs usually. And that's a good investment for somebody that's potentially a silver. Alrighty, everybody, that's the list of guys that I'm going to be investing in this week. Like I said before, I have about 20,000 stubs, and I'm going to be spreading around between all these guys, trying to get as much bang for my buck as I possibly can. And like I said before, we're going to come back after the Friday roster update, and we will go back and take a look at some of these picks I made and see if any of them got ratings bumps. See if I'm an idiot and see if I just wasted my stubs. It's going to be pretty fun to figure it out. This is not the kind of investing that I normally do. This is usually when I'm trying to make stubs with cards, I do the quick flip. So I haven't really, this is my first time really getting into like more of an investing side of it. So it ought to be fun. I hope it's a fun series. I hope you enjoy this series. If you did, make sure to hit that thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Once again, I really appreciate everybody watching. Let me know what kind of investments you're making in the comments. We'll see you in the next video. Peace out.